Well, we're back. Welcome back to another Both Sides podcast. Today, we have the fresh man, tattoos and all, Dylan Francis, Sales Director at White Fox in Melbourne Northside.
That's correct.
Welcome to the podcast, mate. I'm really keen to have you in Sydney amongst some good weather as opposed to the weather back in Melbourne. Mate, what I really like about you, just to start off, is that you're a little bit different from the average agent. Fresh shoes, tattoos out, good tan, hairstyle, awesome jacket. Mate, can you tell us a little bit about like how you've become yourself and authentic? Because we were chatting a bit off air. You're one of the first people to, or one of the only agents I know that's really been able to crack literally starting out as a solo agent to do $1 million, then $2 million straight off the bat. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey for those who may not have seen the new merge and things that have happened?
Definitely. Dan, Kevin, appreciate you boys having me on today. It's good to fly up out of Melbourne and get into some sunny Sydney. And
giddy up.
Yeah, we're sitting behind the beautiful Opera House in Sydney Harbour. So Journey Suites here have done well with hooking me up with some accommodation. So
let's have some fun,
guys. Good to be on the pod, and it's exciting to kind of be here and getting into some nits and grits of kind of my life and journey. And it's moved pretty quickly, Dan. It's back to 2017, end of 2017, so just on 7 years now. I was a tradesman, a landscape gardener out of school, so graduated 2012.
On the digger.
On the shovel, on the wheelbarrow. Academically, not great at school. If we want to talk enter scores and talk, university degrees, it's not me. We had a goal of following the footsteps of my brother and father, who had a landscaping business and a gardening business. So naturally, progression out of school, we went into that. Straight out of year 12 into, becoming a gardener and landscaper. We did that for 5 or 6 years, on and off. I actually applied for a criminal justice course, believe it or not.
Did you?
Applied for the police force. Got declined. I don't know why.
Did you rock up in your motorbike
No,
there?
I didn't have the motorbike then. I had the tattoos then, but maybe I was a young lad and they probably didn't like me, having slick back hair and tattoos, entering into the police force at 20 years old. So, but I look back and say, hey, what a journey we've been on coming out of school, trying a few different things out, getting into the family business of landscaping, traveling to Europe, with friends and family early on, and then getting into the groove of real estate, 2017. So always had a goal to get in, always had a passion for property. I just didn't, I'd probably say, have the guts to kind of go in earlier, and I'm glad that I did. And we had an opportunity open up at the company that I've just previously moved on from, which was Jealous Craig, and I had an opportunity to join there as an agent. Unfortunately, the position they had available for me was a cadet, which in real estate terms is, someone that does all the non-dollar productive tasks in the office, right? Building inspections, bank valuations, final inspections, cold calling, dropping appraisal packs for agents in the office. And, but I was very excited to be in an office, that was a high-performing office under a good brand, and obviously just wanted to take a leaf out of some agents in my company, take a leaf out of their book on what they do well. And obviously bit the bullet for a few years. It was, a decrease in pay, so I had to take a step or two back to kind of take 2 steps forward. And
what was that like, being in your mid-20s to then?
Well, 25, I think life's really just beginning at that age, and to go from a landscaping business that's doing quite well to taking 1 or 2 steps back, it was, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. Not when I'm 35 or 40 with kids and mortgages.
How old are you now? Just for some
31.
context.
31, yeah. So I said, we've got to do it now. Well, we've got to take a risk, which we did. So started as a cadet. Within 6 months, I think I was the quickest transition from cadet to working in a team, which happened. Stayed in that team as a buyer manager, campaign manager, prospector for 1.5 years, 2 years. And then the role was to bring, buyers, connect to property, get some sales, find some, find any hot leads. But it got to the point pretty quickly where I was listing 5 to 8 a month myself as a campaign agent, so and a buyer manager. So I had a think and a thought to myself, and approached a few other people in the industry, and my family said, look, I think I'm ready to take the next step. So it was 3 years ago now, 3.5. I said, you know what, I think I'm ready to jump out into the big world. And when I did this, it was COVID. So what a great time to, hey, well, we're doing well in a team. If I'm going to really better myself, benefit myself and set up my life, I made the decision over COVID with my now wife, Nikita, to do that. So we stepped out, took a big leap of faith to become a solo agent, had a goal of writing 350 grand, as we always do as a first yearer. And people said I wouldn't do that. But deep down, I'm determined, I'm so structured, and I knew I could do it. And I thought that was quite conservative for myself. But year one, the goal was 350. We wrote 1.3, or I did.
How does that happen?
Mate, your question's as good as my answer. It's not that I did anything different to anyone else. It's just that I knuckled the fuck down.
When you mean to knuckle the fuck down, do you mean 12, 14, 16 hour days, 7 days a week? What are we talking about here?
It's still been 7 days a week since the beginning. But to do it over COVID, where everyone was sitting on their butt at home, not working, I dialed in times 2, times 4, times 10. And I said, if I'm going to go out on my own at this time, in lockdown, where we can't show property and we're selling property via virtual inspection or Zoom, I need to build up my clientele, my database, so when we get out of this rut, I'm ready to go. So it was a tough time to do it, but 350 the goal, wrote 1.3. Within 5 months, when I got to that $1 million mark or $900,000 mark, I couldn't cope, so I needed assistance. So I put on an EA, Madison Bruce. So we put her on. Within 3 months post that, I put on my first buyer manager. And that's when we hit those targets of, 1.3, 1.4. Year 2, the goal was to better myself from the year before. And year 2, we went from 1.3 to just a touch above 2 million. And then it went to team member 4, which was a buyer manager again. So 2 buyer managers, an executive assistant managing all admin tasks, and myself being the listing agent and leader in the business.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I just want to scale it back to that first year. And you said that you doubled, quadrupled the workout compared to what the competitors were doing, and I firmly believe that that's what you would have had to do to really break that threshold. But even if it wasn't COVID, let's say, for example, it's now, like we're out of COVID and you've got some associates moving out to become their own agent. Do you think that even if it's not COVID, to actually break through that barrier, so you're getting call-ins, so you become that attraction agent, do you believe you have to do the same sort of thing and outwork the competition to even get to that point?
Definitely, 100%. And as we went back to before, no university degree, did very poorly at school, but just had the work ethic and determination and the grit to want to do well. And if we had an interscore on energy, work ethic, I think I'd be 100 out of 100. And that's
100.
just based on how well I know I can do and how driven I am. And you go back to the traditional 9 to 5 real estate role or kind of hourly, rate, whatever people work off. It's if I'm up at 4:30 in the morning every morning, which I am, and I'm on the phone until 9 o'clock at night every night, that's not 8 hours. That's 14 to 16. So if you want to say I've been in real estate for 6.5, 7 years, if I base on what you're supposed to work, I could probably say I've been in real estate. I've got the knowledge of a 14 to 15 year agent because of the hours that I do. And starting out, Kev, there's no easy way. You've got to be prepared to put in the hard yards and, eat some dirt for 2 to 3 to 5 years, however long it takes you. But I think if you have some big goals in mind and you're determined to get there and you're willing to do the work to get there, it will happen.
So, sorry, bro. I was just going to say, you talked about you were pretty structured with the routine. Can you run us through the actual routine, like 4:30? What does the day proceed? Very structured. So, look, this isn't anything new to anyone else. I just do it a little bit different, right? Some people have some great structure. Some people might have some better routines than me. Some people might not. Some people might roll out of bed at 7:30 in the morning and still be a fantastic agent. So whatever works best for the individual, stick with. I'm 4:30 in the morning, wake up, in the gym by shortly after 5, working out for an hour and a half. Back home, the same breakfast every morning, whether it's a smoothie or omelette. That's it. That's how the rhythm goes for the week. Wake up, get home, walk the dogs, in the office by about 8:30. Now, that's kind of morning, but what I've now got into over the last 12 to 24 months is sauna, ice bath every morning.
So we've got a sauna at home, we've got a pool at home. I go to St. Haven back home in Collingwood, which is a kind of wellness centre as well, which is sauna, ice bath, retreat. So you can kind of start the day extremely well. So when I'm up and ready in the morning and I've done my workout, by 6 o'clock, 6:30, I've done all that. People are still sleeping. I'm ready to go. Absolutely ready. And I'm on the phone by 4:45, 5 o'clock, which I'm trying to stop in some degree because I'd rather just have a little bit of me time in the morning versus jumping straight on the emails or the phones or the texts. But it's just about following that structure and routine. So I do that 6 days a week. Monday to Saturday I train. Sunday's rest day.
Yeah.
Rest day in the gym, but rest day on Sunday is massage, sauna, still recovering for Monday. The routine of, being a high-performing agent and team, it's, nothing new to the team meetings most mornings. There's a Monday and a Thursday team meeting that's either 8:30 or 9 a.m. to kind of set up the week, and Thursdays to set up the weekend, right? Non-dollar productive tasks are not done in the morning. Try to palm them off to other people in the office, but it's that 8:30 to 9 o'clock kind of lock-in calls, build the momentum for the day. And if I can have a really good start to the morning and set up my afternoon with tasks and appointments, I know I've had a really good day. And all I do is follow that day in, day out. Nighttime, well, I have an alarm set on my phone for 3:30 every day to meditate. So that kind of gets me to the afternoon when I'm feeling a little bit kind of tired, going hard from early in the morning. So I meditate for 10 to 20 minutes every day when that alarm goes off, if I can. And then the routine of night is to try to put the phone down by 8:30, 9 o'clock, meditate before we go to bed, and then we're back into it again. So pretty structured. Sunday, day off. Sundays, wife, family time, house stuff, and then preparing for the week to come again.
Sweet. So, coming back to when you were transitioning, so you've done things really quickly, right? So I just want to focus and recenter back to where you transitioned over, because I was very similar in that respect when I moved. Well, not so much the numbers, but in terms of the output, I definitely was going 7 days a week. I was door knocking, 10 hours on a Sunday. So in terms of growth, and myself was quite quick as well, with doubling every year. And I didn't really take too much notice of other agents, but I'm seeing a couple of agents now transitioned over from being, associate after a few years and transitioning to becoming their own agent. And when I look back at my own career, I was doubling and tripling the output compared to my competitors, I feel. But
and you still do. Yeah,
I still do. But when you have a look at these other agents coming through, which I'm trying to help them come up, they're putting in probably the same amount of effort as another agent, plus the other agent's got a team. So for those agents which have started to transition to become their own agent, do you think that will be able to crack into the market if they don't put in a lot more effort than their competitors? And if they do you think it just takes a long, long time to get there if they're doing that?
Look, it really depends on the individual and what they want, right? If you want to write 300, 400, 500K, which are great numbers, and have a really good life balance and lifestyle, that is completely fine. But if you've got big, ambitious goals on writing $1, $2, $5, $10 million, you've got to have a plan. You've got a goal set on how to get there. Now, I'm not saying anyone that doesn't put in the same amount of hours as you is as good as you, but are they asking the right questions? Are they cutting through to that potential client the way I cut through? Are they having a 5-minute phone call and getting one nugget of gold out of that phone call where I could get 3 or 5 possible opportunities? I think it's the way you ask great questions, and it's the way you can connect with the vendor or the potential client in a different way to get a little bit more information out of them. But I think as a young agent getting into the business, they really need to understand what they want. They really need to understand their timeline and how they're going to get there. And I think you've all got to have some really good goal setting on what we need to do in order to achieve that goal. And then we sit back and say, great, we've achieved these goals. How do we get to the next steps? Now, let's not just set a pie in the sky goal. We need to measure how we get there. If I want to have a certain amount of money saved in 12 months, I can say that, but what am I going to do to get there? What does it take each month to get there? What does it take me holding back on to get there? What else can I do to ensure that I get a little bit more at the end of the month to put aside to that? It's not just, let's just have big goals. We have to measure them really well and always look back and say, well, if this isn't working, what else can I do to kind of push me in the right pathway to get there?
Are you big on that in your current regime?
massive. I actually, when I was on the plane on the way here yesterday, I reset my goals for remaining 2024, 2025, 2026. And now this is personal, but this is also business. And I put holidays in there, I put family, I put GCI numbers, I put office numbers, I put recruitment, I put how happy I want to be. And that's a big thing in my life right now is how can I learn to appreciate what I have a little bit more versus always wanting more, which I have to learn to accept a little bit more. That I have a great life right now at 31 and I've got everything that I dreamed of, right? But it's
Rolex,
like, okay,
house, 2 properties, office, fresh haircut, tattoos,
haircut every Thursday.
Europe
so
trips.
been back to Europe, got a nice tan. It feels good. So and I'm kind of learning that, you know, the long hours are great, but how can I shorten those hours a little bit and do some better dollar productive tasks, right? How can I maybe have every Friday off, which I'm trying to get into moving forward down the track, or a half day, or kind of finish a little bit earlier on a Monday, not too open for inspections, spend a little bit more family time together. It's what can I do to kind of have a little bit more work-life balance, which isn't easy in this business, especially if you want to do well. You can't have the best of both worlds when you're getting into the business. You need to move one way, and then it slowly shifts. And when it's starting to shift, like, life's great, you know, and everyone says getting to 1 million was the hardest thing, but for me it was the easiest. And then getting from 2 was even easier, but it's now, once you get past those numbers, it's like it's a different ball game, because now we're a leader. We're trying to navigate a new office, a new brand. So yeah, gone are the days where, you know, my real estate hat's on. It was years ago, but it's now my real estate hat's on, but my leadership hat's on, my mentor hat's on. It's how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better person in the office to everyone? And, you know, now I just need to respect everyone to the level that I want to be respected, because, you know, I've got to take care of everyone else around me. So
true what you're saying. And I think that's where a lot of agents start to go wrong as they grow. And that's what I've seen where a lot of agents have actually gone wrong is they're great salespeople, they're great at listing and selling, but they hire their first assistant and their first couple of associates, and it all starts to go shit for them. And I think it's mainly because they're taught how to list and sell. They're not actually taught how to lead. Yeah. So now that you've become a sales director and you're actually, you know, managing people a lot more, how do you actually coach yourself or teach yourself leadership skills? Yeah.
Well, look, it goes back to goal setting and having a mentor, right? So I've got some fantastic mentors in the real estate business, but what I have outside of the real estate business is a mindset coach, right? Who teaches me how to be the best version of myself, which is Nick Stewart, who's arguably one of the best.
What's the top 2 things you've learned from him? Quick,
100 bang. Goals.
How to be myself and how to get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. Which is a big thing in this world. Everyone wants to be comfortable. Nothing great happens being comfortable. Put yourself out there, speak on podcasts, call great auctions, be a great leader, do other things that not everyone wants to do, which is where the gold happens. But going back to that, having a great mentor outside of real estate that actually helps you with becoming a better person, goal setting, how to understand how to say no, value my time better.
That's hard, isn't it?
Understanding that this is what you're worth, Dylan. You want to work your GCI back on how many weeks per year, work out an hourly rate, and you're going to go for that, you know, 2-hour meeting that's pointless when you could be doing, you know, more productive tasks. But he's really taught me on, you know, how to be a better person, how to deal with emotions a little bit more, you know, when you're trying to run an office. But I've had a team of 4 for years, and, you know, they're all females in my team as well. So we've all got to be aligned on emotions and what we all want out of this journey moving forward. And I'm now starting to realise that it's not all about, you know, real estate. It's about how can we help each other and how can we help each individual on their journey and their goal setting and what they want to get out of life as well. So look, it's still a learning path for me, and I'm hoping year on year I get better. But, you know, now it's about understanding everyone to that better or next level where, you know, they're extremely comfortable with me as their leader and mentor, that they can turn to me for anything real estate related, but also personal and outside of real estate related as well.
Yeah. I guess with especially when you're dealing with more people now and the stress grows and you've got more responsibilities, how do you navigate being able to actually stay on top of all the listing opportunities you've got coming up, the current clients, as well as actually managing more staff? How are you doing that?
Look, it's all about delegation, right? And being able to stay in your own lane. Clearly, as a listing agent, and I'd be doing 90% of the listing volume in my team, which is fine. But then we've got other team members that stay in their lane, which are buyer managers, campaign managers, and admin assistants, right? I think you've got to get them dialed in on what they do well and what I do well. And I think if I can kind of handball some tasks that I'm not great at, like I'm horrible at admin. If I did admin, I wouldn't be able to produce the income and produce the possible leads that we do right now. So I try to stay in my lane and what I'm great at, and handball some of the work that I'm not great at to someone who is extremely good at that. And then once I can do that, I allow myself, okay, well, I've got a little bit more time, and I try to structure the week as in, okay, this is when I will catch up with each individual. This is when I'll see, one of the girls. This is when I'll see one of the boys in the office. My phone's available 24/7 for anything that they do need outside of work, and I'll take calls on a Sunday from them. And hey, Dill, do you mind? Can I have a quick chat? I'm open for all of that whenever they need it. But clearly, with a new business getting off the ground, it's going to get busier. So I still have to learn on, okay, when it becomes an office of 4 or 5 and it gets to 10 or 15, then my time's going to be more important on spending it with the staff and being able to lead and being able to navigate and drive them to the next level. But I've still got to list and sell property, which is what I'm great at. So it's still learning that, and I think I'm getting great at it, but I can still get a lot better.
What made you rebrand to White Fox rather than open your own?
Great question. I did have starting my own business on my mind for quite some time. Clearly, I've worked in a high-performing agency for years and was a shareholder there and had a very high-performing team. But it got to a point where I want more for myself, and how do I get more for myself? I need to go out and possibly open up my own business. Everyone wants to do it. It's not all the glitz and glamour that you think it is, and it's extremely hard to make that decision. Now, I had, current company I was at, no issues. Wanting to take the next step, I didn't feel like I had that opportunity at the current business because it's such a big network, and where I work, it was everyone on top of each other kind of thing, in a good way because everyone was kind of close and working and writing great numbers. But if I wanted to open up my own office, there was just no opportunity. So I said, okay, if I want my own office, I do Dylan Francis real estate or something along those lines, or do I go up north and look at a new opportunity, or do I contact someone who has a fantastic brand in the east, southeast, and bring them to the north? Hence where White Fox come into the picture. Marty Fox, obviously business partner there, approached me 3 years ago, and it's like, we'd love to do Northside. I said, not happening. Marty, not happening. Remain close, not as a good mate kind of close, but a respectful close, as in we can always text or Instagram message and ask for advice and, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Property related. Year 2, caught up for coffee, still wasn't interested. It's just, I was too happy where I was, and I thought, you know what? I'm writing great numbers. I didn't think I needed to make the change. But then it come to a time late last year, early this year, when I had a thought. I'm like, you know what? I need to make change. And maybe it's because I just got married and I'm thinking, okay, can I keep moving at this level for the next 7 years in a big business? Or do I need to look at my future, which means a new business to lead, to run, to then
Step back a bit.
Correct. And then have other people push up the ranks as leaders to help you run the business. And I text Marty and I said, look, how's everything going? He said, look, I'd love to catch up with you again, which we did. We discussed some kind of, options moving forward, which I'm not going to get too much into right now. It can come out at a later time. But the opportunity was there. He wanted to come Northside. I wanted to open up my own office. He's got the brand, the name. I had the runs on the board. So collectively, it was the right move. And now that was made 4 or 5 months ago, the decision to launch Northside White Fox has been amazing. and it was what I was looking for. Now, I don't do things half-hearted. If I'm in, I'm absolutely in. Hence why I never made the decision to leave earlier. Hence why I never left the first agency that I started with. I had 10 interviews when I began real estate and said yes to one agency that I wanted to be with, and now making the move or transition to the new business. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was an easy decision because I knew the business. I followed them closely for years. Watched a lot of Marty Fox, Lana Samuels, Pete Zervis, Mike DiCasio, some of these great agents in that business on what they do. And now just to see the evolution on what that business is doing, as you know, both know really well, it's super exciting to see. And I think this is only the tip of the iceberg on where now the office Northside will go. And, the business as a collective moving forward.
It's growing faster than anything I've seen at the moment.
So it sounds like there was an opportunity there to attach to the momentum of that brand, but why go to that versus do Dylan Francis?
The branding itself. Now, you think about it, right? Opening up your own brand, systems, processes, getting the name out there, it's going to take a lot more time than plugging in with an extremely high marketing business, great at real estate, sell some amazing property, having, Marty Fox as a business owner who's arguably one of the best names in the country, now the block judge. So I thought timing was going to be perfect. All I needed was a good backing and branding to elevate me, because my numbers won't change. If anything, they'll get better. People love Dylan. If I opened up in China, or if I opened up a dickhead real estate and it was me, people would still use me because they want me. But now that I've got the brand with me, I think it's unstoppable. And it's super exciting to see where it will go moving forward.
So, bad section of so this is coming from someone asking in terms of buying. If you had the choice between picking a bad section of a suburb you want to buy in, or the best section of a neighbouring suburb, which one would you pick?
Probably the best sector of a neighbouring suburb.
Okay.
And everyone says, buy the worst house in the best street. Location, location, location. However, some people have now moved off that due to affordability and where the market's at and where interest rates are at. There's some stats that came out, I think a couple of days ago, with the month of August, which saw the most listings hit the market in 13 years, and 39% of those listings that hit the market were investors. So we're getting a lot of people selling up as well. But I think going back to that question, it's about what that individual can afford and what they want to do, and whether it's a long hold or if it's something to get in, do a renovation or flip, and then look to make some money. It just all depends on their circumstances.
Gotcha. Now, I won't name names, but why does so-and-so from so-and-so real estate hate you so much?
Funny, we touched on this last night. I didn't think they did. But anyway, as we said, it's a crazy business. Now,
what's with the cattiness of Melbourne
there
real
is
estate?
so much hate out there, and it's actually funny to listen to, because it only comes from the people that aren't doing as well as you. And I hate to say that, but everyone has that tall poppy syndrome where they're quick to bring people down that are doing well. I'd love to see everyone write great money, have a fantastic life, have their dream car, a beautiful family, and their dream house. Like, why can't everyone push each other and elevate each other to get to that next level where there's so many people trying to bring each other down? It's not right.
Why do you think some people can't or don't hit their goals?
Yeah.
What do you think holds people back?
Well, I just don't think they have that structure, and they don't have that mindset, and they don't have that I can do attitude. Now, it all comes back to really wanting it. Some people don't want the lifestyle that some people have, but they're quick to bring you down when you've got it, but they're not prepared to put in the work. They want to do their 9 to 5 and not take any calls in the afternoon, and not do their prospecting, and not connect, and not get into sponsorship, and not meet great people at networking events, and look for that next opportunity. And they're the ones that are quick to open their mouth and say a few words.
What was your why?
I'm still working on that. It's to have a great later life, to be happy, and
why is that important, do you think?
I think we all get caught up too much on the now and wanting more, and I've only kind of moved towards that over the last few years. That I've got what I want and what I need. I want more, but now I'm chasing that better work-life balance and happiness. And everyone thinks, I always thought money and happiness go together, which I still believe they do, because without that money, are you happy? Yeah, some people are. But I think I can achieve a lot more and get to a lot more places if I am successful in the real estate sector, you know, when it comes to financial decisions. But now it's like, okay, well, I am content on where I'm at. Am I satisfied? Yeah. Do I want more? 100%. You know, and to want more, you still got to dial in and you got to be prepared to do that hard work. But I've got to learn that it's okay to be okay with what you've got and appreciate what you've got, because some people wish they could be there.
100%. I guess with your have you, so your sales agents and sales associates you got at the moment, do you have a game plan or set game plan for them over the next 12, 24, 48 months? Or what does that actually look like for them? Yeah.
Clearly with a new business starting up, the role at the start is to list and sell. Get as many boards up as we can, get the new business and the branding into the north. And then I think it will start to evolve and each individual will start to evolve. But everyone that joins the business, there's always a discussion around growth and planning. Now that will be in writing upon them joining that, hey, look, if we hit certain KPIs, is there partnership? Is there ownership? Do you go from a sales agent to a senior sales agent? Do you get more say? Yes. But the good thing is with our office, I'm the sales director. I'm the one in charge. However, everyone is on the same playing level. Whether you're an SC sales coordinator, whether you're a sales agent, whether you're someone just new to the business, I treat everyone the same. Everyone gets the same amount of say. If someone is joining our business, it's a collective hiring policy, which means I can't say yes to someone and then you interview, you don't like them, they're out.
Oh, coming on that, I actually just, I've got a friend, I won't even say what state because it just gives stuff away at this point, but I've got a friend in a different state that has just had an interview with Marty, and Marty likes her a lot, but she goes, oh yeah, it went well, she really liked me, I just hope everyone else likes me. I'm like, oh, you got the job? She goes, no, everyone's got to like me before I get the job. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, every single person in the business has to say yes before I get hired. I'm like, wow. So let's actually go back to the White Fox bit. How is it like? Like, it's obviously a very, very unique cat in this industry. How is it like? What does it operate like?
And look, that's partly the reason why I joined, right? Because I could see from afar that it was a little different to every agency in respect that everyone is so close. Now, look, some people don't like that, right? But coming from a previous business where it was purely list, sell, go to work, go home, still enjoy some, time with colleagues and whatnot, but this feels completely different and it feels like a big family. And going back to that collective hiring policy, if Marty says yes to a sales agent or a male or a female or a director to join, but Lana, myself, Rebecca, Madison, Jesse say we don't like them, there's no job. Unfortunately, everyone needs to be on the same page to hire that person, because last thing we need is one person to love them and then 6 weeks later there's issues in the company and we've got to get rid of them. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure we start off on the right foot. They're great people firstly, not great agents, great people, then are a great agent. And I think it goes hand in hand. I think if you have the great attitude first, you want to do well, you're prepared to do the work, you want to join a great company, and then you write some great fees, you're in. But everyone's got to be on board and everyone's got to say, yep, Kevin, you're for us, Dan, you're for us. And if you are, you're pretty much in. And then from there, there's a big open WhatsApp where all the groups have, we put all our sales and listings in every day. So from Melbourne's 5-office network to New Zealand's 3-office network to Adelaide to Perth to now launching Brisbane, bonkers. Everyone's in one WhatsApp.
Really?
It's about 100 of us. So you can imagine a phone all day, every day. But what that does is it connects everyone. Everyone's on the same page. We see a beautiful listing coming out of Brisbane. How great. Beautiful listing out of Perth. A sale out of Adelaide. We all get around each other. So I know what's happening in Perth before the Perth market know what's happening. So I think as an agent in the business, to understand what's happening around us and to be able to get around each other as a collective and as a brand, it's warm, it's welcoming, it's exciting, and you get a sale and everyone gets around you, Dan, you get excited to get to the next, your energy, increases, you feel warm and welcoming, and that's what we want in this business as well, for everyone to feel like when they get to work, it's like home, it's not office, and when you leave, you go back home as well, so it all feels the same.
Oh, good. Now, when with White Fox and with Marty being there, like I know operates a little bit different. You got FaceTimes and all that sort of stuff. How does he connect with all these different business owners and at a deep level?
Yep.
In all different states. At all the time.
Look, I can't imagine what he has to do. It's, the man's an absolute jet with, how he runs his business, how he's a family man at home, which everyone sees on social media as well. So,
and every relationship's deep.
He manages to just do everything right. And he probably loved me saying that. But anyway, like from work to family to the block judge now as well, for everything that guy's got going on in his life, he still manages to do it extremely well.
Yeah.
And he still manages to elevate and take the next step and to take a further risk to do something else. But on a kind of deeper level with a business owner, we have our own WhatsApps for business owners or, SDs or directors as well that people are in. We've got a meeting on Zoom today that we'll do once a fortnight or every once a month, that we all connect on what everyone's doing well in their team and agency and state. We have a breakfast every Friday morning at 9 a.m. that all sales directors must attend to then say, okay, how's the week been? What can we learn from the week? What can we take off each other to implement for next week? So we're always together. You FaceTime Marty, if he doesn't answer your call, he'll FaceTime you back within half an hour. Like, he is there and we're there for everyone in the business. But for him to be able to connect with people in Perth, which is a 2 to 3 hour difference in time, New Zealand, Brisbane, where everyone's kind of all over the shop, he still manages to do it really well. And I think that's super important as a CEO of the business, to not get too big too quick, which he doesn't want to then expand to a big network, right? Because it's a privately owned company, which is different to everyone else. But he still manages to find the time for everyone, even if they're in another state, which I think is super important being a CEO and bringing a new business partner on the journey, especially if you're not in Melbourne. You've got to find the time to connect, to be there for everyone, and he manages to do it.
So what does White Fox Northside and your career look like over the next 5 to 10? Where do you see yourself going?
Look, I think the first 12 months is about getting some key recruits on board. And we had some big meetings last week, and we're likely to get a few of these key agents join. And some of these agents have been approached by multiple agencies over the last few years, and it's been a no. But I think people see me make the move, a great performing, leader and team from another company, and say, if this guy can do it or he's doing it, there's got to be a reason. So now people are starting to follow. People are starting to call. We're getting into spring. We're going to have some really cool listings hitting the market over the next 4 to 8 weeks. Marty right now being on the block, working collectively with me in the Northside office, it's really helping. And a lot of people are now calling in based on him being on a block.
Really?
He'll refer something to me. I'll go in and list it. We'll offer Marty to call the auction. So everything's working hand in hand. And I think it's only going to get bigger. But I think we start with the one office in Carlton, which is on Drummond Street. And then we see how the growth of the next 12 months goes. But the goal would be, if all goes well, to look at office 2 and 3. But there wouldn't be any more than that. We want to try to control the whole north with the best agents in each marketplace that can either work from 1 or work from 2 or possibly 3. But that's, big goals down the track. The goal is to really focus and make sure this first office gets off the ground, which it is, and write some great numbers, have some great people, and build some cool agents to join over the next 12 to 24 months.
Where's your favourite place to holiday?
Well, I've just got back from Mykonos. So look, we'd have to say Europe. However, if we want to talk local, I got married last year in Hamilton Island.
Hamilton?
Yeah, so we're coming up to our 1-year anniversary soon, Nikita, my lovely wife. So I'd have to say that would be the best place to holiday to for us, which is close. The weather's great. No hustle and bustle, no cars, drive around your buggy, you're in a cool place. We stayed at Qualia, which is a really nice resort, and it's away from Melbourne, but it's not, so you can still connect with people back home as well. But I've got a house down a peninsula down in Rye that I like to get away to when I've got some time, have some Dylan time. I used to go up there every Wednesday and use it as a call session day to get away from the office and really dive in and connect. And then it kind of sets up the rest of my week. So it's not one place that I go to. I try to move a little bit. I want to get over to Perth and see the Perth crew. I want to go to New Zealand and see them. Get up to Gold Coast and Brisbane a little bit more and see the new team up there. So I think the next 12 to 24 months, which my wife might not like, there's going to be a little bit more trouble on the card.
Yeah, for sure, man. How is that been having a partner managing that whilst being 100 miles. Like Kevin and I will talk about it sometimes about the discussion. Like Kevin's now dialed in where he's like 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah, girls stop DMing me. It's off limits.
The big man Kevin.
The big man Kev.
Yeah.
How's it been like for you?
I think it's been fantastic, really, for a guy like that to be able to take risks and open up new businesses left, right and centre over the last, really, it's been 12 months. Adelaide, Perth, Northside, Brisbane, and then what's coming from there. It's like there'll be a few more, but I think then it will rein in and we kind of would have covered the best territories in the best states. But he's still available, right? He's still moving at 100 miles an hour. I don't know how he does it. You know, he's still a great father and family figure at home, and he's so close with his mum, his dad, and his brother Taylor and Charlotte and the kids. Like everyone is so close, but he still finds time to take the next step and to drive the business, which credit to him, right? He's just got back from Europe as well. He went, then I went. He was 3.5 weeks, so was I. It was great to see him go away because I go to Europe a lot more than him. He hasn't been in 8 years. Clearly it's because he's been driving the new brand and business to get them off the ground, which has taken a few years to get there. And I think it's been the last 24 months where it's really, he's seen the fruits of the labour. But I think the next 12 to 24 months with him driving that as the CEO and getting more social credit and social proof being on the block on Channel 9. Like if the block can say, well, you know, we trust Marty Fox to be a judge, how can a vendor not trust him in a living room? How can a vendor not trust a business partner of his to sell their home when they get him involved as well? So I think as a collective and as a team moving forward, it's an exciting journey, and I think it's a force to reckon with.
Huge power. I guess in terms of that growth phase for you, do you have a particular point where you go, like I look at my business and
it's great.
It's a bit different now, the way that I'm structuring, but I was looking at it from a different point of view previously, and I was like, man, how do I get to like 300 plus sales per annum? I'm like, I'm just going to have to keep scaling the team. But then you see some other agents and they can do it like 2 associates. How do you think you can have that amount of turnover while having a small team and not like kill yourself in the process?
Yeah, look, it's all about your average fee and average comp. So we did 110 sales last year as a team, 120. That will be the goal, 90 to 110 this year with the new business and transitioning. But if you can work on your average fee and average sale price, you don't have to do 300 sales. You know, yes, we're in a competitive business where we've got multiple agents dropping their pants with fees to get business that are prepared to pay for marketing to get business. But I think if you can have a better why and a better why Kevin, why Dylan, why Dan, and build a great case study behind it and have a really good marketing call behind it as well, then, you know, I think that should propel the business. But then again, like, do you want to do 300 sales or do you want to do 100 and have a really good work-life balance and have a team along the journey with you that might do 30 or 50 each, right? Kevin can do 80 or 90 and his team members can do 30 to 50, and then you're up to the 2 to 250 kind of numbers. But, you know, looking at a Josh Teslin who does over 300 sales a year or something like that, like that's bonkers. I can't imagine, you know, the life that he would have, and, you know, that phone must be attached to him 24/7. Like, it's great to see, but, you know, I don't want to do that. You know, I want to stay where I am in regards to volume. Yes, a little bit more, but now grow the brand, the people around me, the network, have a better average sale price and an average comp, which I think goes hand in hand. And it means I still get a little bit more time. Yeah.
Favourite hobby?
Favourite hobby?
Besides tattooing.
Well, I haven't had tattoos in a few years. Look, I'm big on going out for dinners and breakfast, right? Like, I'm in the gym every morning. I'm out for a nice dinner Friday and Saturday nights usually with the wife, because Monday to Thursday I'm so dialed in. It's eat at home, the same stuff, and we try to get a little bit creative on the weekend as well. But sport-wise, love AFL. Try to get to a few games where I can, but as you'd know, in this business, it's not easy to just, you know, go to a Saturday or, you know, go to a Sunday game when Sunday's your only day off. Love to go out, love to enjoy a nice red wine, have a great dinner, in bed early, up on a Sunday, doing some house stuff, getting a massage, just really kind of slowing it down a little bit as well. But I think moving forward, a little bit more travel's on the cards.
Travel and kids, huh?
Travel and kids. I think they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah,
We'll soon find out.
What would be your best piece of advice for somebody in their mid-20s that want to succeed?
All right. So best advice for someone in their mid-20s, to really back themselves, to have a great structure and routine, and to have some fantastic goals. However, some advice for someone 20s, 30s, joining the business, looking to be a shareholder or a director of a company, do a little bit more research. It's all fun and games, and it's all red roses and blue skies when you're awarded to become a partner and a director and a sales agent or a shareholder. And then when you're in, it's not easy to get out. So just a piece of advice for some younger people out there, maybe do a little bit more research into that, because once you're tied into a shareholder, to a business owner, the repercussions, the reprimands, the things you can face when you want to get out aren't easy. So, and it doesn't have to be like that. However, some people do go through it. And, maybe a little bit more advice to the younger people on understanding what that looks like from a higher level. That, do you want to be a shareholder when you get some say, but when you want to leave and spread your wings, shit gets hard and people don't want you to leave? And, they throw the kitchen sink at you and you can't do this, you can't do that. It's, a little bit harsh in reality. It's like they've got you in handcuffs sometimes as well from some of the bigger
good old
agencies.
Golden handcuffs. Huh?
They're not fun. But that's the nature of our industry, and I wish it would change a little bit. That if someone was to better themselves and spread their wings and wanting to take on the world at a young age and wanting to go out and do their own thing, then best of luck to everyone. So just a little bit of advice to that younger age, and is do a little bit more research into that. It's not all the glitz and glam that it seems it is, especially when you want to take the next step and do something else yourself. But I think really getting dialed in on structure and routine and
what's been the
understanding
biggest lesson on structuring, dialing in your structure and routine? What's been the biggest lesson for you in that?
I think it's just allowed me to have the life that I want. And, anyone can get up at 4:30 in the morning and train and, be dialed in, but are they really dialed into the cause? Are they really dialed into where they want to go? Do they have that plan? Do they have that pathway? Anyone can get up at that time and train and say, I get up early and train. But if they don't have that pathway on where they want to go, they don't have those milestones on where they tick. And once you tick that milestone, we move to the next one. You're just going to stay in that lane. Now, I'd love everyone to do well and everyone to elevate and take the next step, but there's a lot more than just having a routine to get you there. And it's all that hard work and those long hours and those things that you don't want to do. Those calls you don't want to take, those hard vendor calls that you don't want to, have at 8 o'clock at night that, may get you a price reduction or might get the property sold. Like, it's just about understanding that this game ain't easy. No. People think it's easy. It's fucking hard work, and it's a lot of time and effort, especially as a younger person, to do it. But I am glad that I've done it from 25 and I'm now 31, and I really look forward to the next 5 years.
Sweet. Rock and roll.
We've got Aaron from Manor Real Estate works with me, so we'll give him a one question.
Appreciate it. So I guess as your time as an associate, how did you prepare yourself to transition from being an associate into a standalone agent, and then from there, I guess, did the hustle change? Not only did the hustle change, but how did you manage your time to not only work on the person that you're working for's business, but also your own business to sort of get yourself up and off the ground?
Great question. I think as a sales agent in a team, Aaron, you need to understand the numbers that you're writing yourself. Now, some people get caught up with the team's writing great numbers, but is the individual actually performing? And if you're performing in that team and you're writing 200, 300, 400, 500, you should be confident yourself to take the next step, right? You've got to make sure you've got a great pipeline for when you're ready to move for the next 30 to 60 days on some vendors that will use Aaron to sell their home. If you don't have that yet, it's probably not the right time. If you can hand on heart say, look, I've got 5 or 10 potential listings that will come by the end of the year, and you can then work off those listings and generate new prospects and potential vendors and meet new clients, then great, go for it. But you've got to ensure that you've got a few of those dot points down pat. You've got to be prepared to eat some shit to get to the next level. And, for me, moving from that role to a standalone agent, like I had no reason to dial in any harder than, if I don't do this, I sink. There's no money here. There's a retainer. There's no salary, and then I've got people's salaries that I need to pay before I get paid. So for me, there's actually no plan B. It's 100% all in. Follow your pathway. Trust your judgment. Have a great mindset, but make sure you've got that, hot buyer list or hot client list ready to go, and you're confident in yourself to step out on your own. It all comes down to here. It's not how well you think you can do pen to paper, how many clients are here. If you believe you can do it, Aaron, then definitely do it.
Thank you.
Howie, do you have a question to wrap up?
Where do you see yourself or want to be in 15 years?
So 15 years, I will be 46. I would love to be a father, which I'm sure I will be by then. Otherwise, my wife's going to cut me off.
Do you have a particular...
Look, I'd love to have 2 kids. I'd love to have 2 kids. I'd love to have twins. I'm manifesting twins. I don't know if it's going to happen, but, I think it'd be great.
Boy twins or girl twins?
Maybe one of each.
One of each.
Yeah. I come from a family of all boys. So went out for Father's Day yesterday. I'm the middle, got an older brother, younger brother and dad. So mum's done the hard work, right? So in 15 years, I'd love to a very successful business, as in possibly 2 to 3 network business in the north. I'd love to be not off the tools completely, but more as a manager role, as an auctioneer, as someone running the business and having great directors under me, and a great work-life balance, flying to state, call some auctions for the team on a Saturday, flying to state and maybe have a holiday home up in Queensland and Brisbane. But I'd love to possibly move up there in 5, 10, 15 years. And I think it's a great lifestyle. The weather's fantastic, the vibe's cool. But as long as you've got a safe place back home and you've got a business performing back home where you can actually be able to do that and move away from it and still, have a passive income, then that's the goal. But I think stepping back, letting other people step in front, having a really good work-life balance and, having a great family.
Beautiful. Mate, my last question for you. Where's the best spot to eat in Melbourne?
Best spot to eat,
Your
multiple
favourite.
restaurants.
Your favourite. Your go-to.
I probably don't go to the same one all too often. I always try new ones. But I don't think you can go past an Omnia Bistro in Chapel Street or a Yugen Dining. Nicola, a good friend of mine, has those there. Or you go to an Nobu at Crown, which is a fantastic Japanese feed, which are obviously worldwide. You've got Etta in Brunswick East, or you've got Marion in Fitzroy North. But Melbourne's a place to be for food and dining. So if you're coming to Melbourne for that, you can't go wrong.
Beautiful. All right, mate, we'll really appreciate you joining us in Sydney for the podcast. Can't wait to see you in 15 years.
Thank you, boys. Look forward to it. Thank you.